Hello, Rebound here. Well, I just left the Appalachian Dreamer Hostel about 30 minutes ago. I enjoyed my stay there immensely. I had gone there with the intention of most probably getting off trail because my foot was hurting so bad. I couldn't imagine continuing on. But that's when Bud made the reservation the night before. The next day, it was like a miracle. My foot was hardly hurting at all. I couldn't believe it. I really can't explain it, except for the prayer of my friends and all of those who follow me. You're now getting videos of when my foot first started hurting. So I know a lot of you are praying for that specifically, and I appreciate everyone's prayers so much. I had gone to the Appalachian Dreamer Hostel in 2018. I stayed 2 nights there, and I just happened to land there with 3 other guys who I knew, and I met 2 other people who I got to know, and we slack-packed the second day, so I was eager to go by there. I didn't know if I was going to be able to because I had my mail drop in Atkins, but I was thinking maybe, just one night. So Mac is 81 years old. He is a good Christian brother, and he hikes 8 miles every day, unless it's raining. He hiked up the mountain and met me on his daily walk and was going to carry my pack down for me. But since I was doing so well, I went on an extra 2 miles. He continued his walk and then picked me up a couple of miles from where he had parked his truck. So Mac is very particular about who he allows to stay at his hostel. At this stage in his life, he can do that if he wants. He doesn't really need the money. He only asks a $25 donation, and he doesn't allow drinking, drugs, or smoking at his hostel. And believe it or not, that weeds out a lot of people. I cannot believe how many people are smoking weed on the trail. They can do whatever they want to, but if we have to smell it, or they're doing it in a shelter, that's not right. So anyway, he's very discerning about who he allows to stay at his hostel. I happened to be the only one there last night, and he made me feel at home, treated me like a family member. The bunk room has 6 bunks. It has 2 bathrooms, and it's almost like the house was built to be a hostel. His living area is all on the other side. When you come in the door, immediately to the right is the bunk room. There are 2 separate doors that lead down into the basement, one for the hikers and one for him, and it has a very nice little kitchen area. He cooked supper. It was fried chicken, mixed vegetables, mashed potatoes, and biscuits, and iced tea. And then in the morning, he fixed me pancakes and got me to the trail at 7:30. Even though he said he doesn't usually get up till 9. So I felt kind of bad about asking him if I could be on the trail by 8. He said he could go back to sleep, so anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed my stay at the Appalachian Dreamer Hostel. I would highly recommend it. And my foot is doing so well today. I can't believe it. It's a miracle. Only had a twinge of pain and weakness this morning, And once I got on the trail and started walking, it still feels a little twingy, but really there is not much pain at all, and I am so very relieved. I can't tell you how relieved I am. So today's plan is to go to Chestnut Knob Shelter. I cannot remember how many miles it is, but it is 10 or 11-ish. I'm gonna continue to try to keep the miles low for a while, just because I don't want to do anything more to this foot. I don't want to push it. And so that is my plan. It said there was like an 80 or 90% chance of rain today. Mac checked the radar and he said he didn't see anything on the radar. So I'm praying that this is one of those instances where the weathermen are wrong. So that is it for the morning report. And this is Rebound signing out. Hello, it's raining. I'm at a shelter. And it's supposed to rain all day, depending on who you believe. This is Knott Mall, Knotmaul shelter. And I'm getting ready to head on. Can't avoid it forever, but it was a nice reprieve to stop here. Signing out. The bridge is out. At this bridge there are warnings. Saw some very scary crossings on video last season. And my feet are gonna get wet, but this is not scary at all. So, getting ready to cross. While I'm out here, I often wonder what it was like to hike this trail in the early years before it was a thing to through hike the trail. I know Grandma Gatewood did it, and she has a book. And Earl Schaefer, who I think is supposed to be one of the first people to ever through hike the entire trail in 1 year or one sitting. And there are places where it's a little confusing to know which way the trail goes. Usually they're fairly beaten down, but I wonder what it would have been like when the trail was not beaten down and it was not well marked and it was not well maintained. Take this area, for example, especially back there, there were lots of these, whatever they are, these weeds or bushes. They were just thick. And I was trying to imagine what it would be like if this had not been mowed or brush hogged. And it's really, it must have been scary, especially for Grandma Gatewood. I have not read her book. I did order Earl Schaefer's book. They had it at the Marion Hostel, and I read the beginning pages of it, and it piqued my interest, but it is not available on Kindle. I ordered it paperback and had it sent to home, thinking that maybe Bud might want to read it, and I could read it when I get back. But it's supposed to be a very interesting read. Like this, for example. What if this was not mowed and somebody had to try to find the trail through all of this? And all of those places where they built those little plank bridges and rock steps and, you know, painting the blazes and making sure they're always visible. What did they do when all of this was not maintained like that? Must have been tough and scary. Hello, Rebound here. Well, it was quite a day. I went uphill all day long, and after I crossed that stream, of course, my socks and my shoes were wet all day. The sun didn't come out, but it did not rain all day long. It rained for probably a couple of hours lightly, and I was grateful for that. My foot did really well until the last couple of miles. I had read notes on Far Out that the water source close to the shelter was pretty dry, and they suggested you pack in water from the spring by the pond, which I did, but when I did that, my foot started hurting. So any thoughts I had of going a little bit further were shot, and I am at Chestnut Knob Shelter. It's on a hill. That view I showed you is called Burke's Garden, and it's my understanding from Far Out notes that it is a sinkhole, miles wide and long. So that was pretty interesting. It turned foggy and windy right when I got up to this shelter. The shelter is made of stone and it has a door, but I didn't want to stay in there. There were comments on Far Out that there had been mice. Pretty much right about the time I got my tent set up and cooked my meal, the rain started in earnest. This is much heavier than it was this morning, and I'm grateful to be in my tent. Means I'll have to pack up a wet tent tomorrow, but that's okay, I guess. I'm grateful to be back out on the trail. It took me a while to do my miles today, and I think it was around 10 or 11. I haven't done the math yet. And tonight I had a freeze-dried meal, a Mountain House chicken teriyaki, that the sweet caretaker at the Marion gave to me. I just found it on my bed one day while I was doing my work for stay there, and I went to her and I said, "Bunny, did you give this to me?" She said, "Who else do you think would give that to you?" And I thought that was so funny, but she was a sweetheart. I really loved Bunny, loved helping her out, and I think she appreciated me helping out because I did more than she asked me to, and I enjoyed it. So anyway, I guess that is about all I have to say for this evening. This is Rebound, signing out.